Hello there folks, and welcome to another Perfect 5 video. What you're seeing is the robin's egg blue color, which is trademarked by the famous jeweler Tiffany & Co. on 1837. Yes, you heard it right, this color is older than your grandma. But for today, we are not going to tackle about the history of this color or waste of time comparing the ages of our grandmother, but rather, we're gonna spend the next few minutes trying to understand how a $27,000 worth shop turned into a world's top jeweler with multi-billion worth of asset and capital. So get yourself a cup of coffee and a croissant and join me with my breakfast at Tiffany's.
Yeah, breakfast at Tiffany's and bottles of bubbles.
From red carpets to movies, elegant looks of famous celebs cannot be completed without a touch of sparkling diamonds and jewels on their neck, wrist, or anywhere in their glammed outfits. And for quite some time, this demand for sparkle has been very favorable for a jeweler like Tiffany & Co. Marilyn Monroe, Audrey Hepburn, and Lady Gaga. These are just few of the famous names associated with another famous brand, Tiffany & Co., which has been in the industry since, I guess, even before the industry was established. Or was it that Tiffany & Co. started the industry? Let's find out. 1837 when Tiffany & Co. is created by Charles Louis Tiffany and John B. Young, then known as Tiffany and Young. All items were marked with a non-negotiable selling price, which was a first at that time. The first day sales totaled $4.98. On the same year, Tiffany Blue Box was introduced. The well-known shade of blue was chosen to symbolize the company's renowned reputation for quality and craftsmanship. The color is well known globally and widely used on Tiffany & Co. boxes, catalogs, shopping bags, brochures, and in their advertising mediums. Today, it has become Tiffany & Co.'s trademark color. No box can be taken out of Tiffany & Co. store except with an article which has been sold by them. This adds to the exclusivity of the brand. 1845 when the first Blue Book was introduced. The first ever Tiffany catalog is published. This tradition still continues at present day. In 1851, Tiffany becomes the first American company to use the 925/1000 sterling standard, which is later adopted as the United States sterling standard. Tiffany's silver design also started capturing attention worldwide. In 1853, Charles Tiffany assumes control of the company and renamed it to Tiffany & Co. In 1878, Tiffany Diamond was presented. Charles Tiffany purchased the Tiffany diamond, which is one of the world's largest and finest yellow diamonds. The stone is cut into 128.54 carats with 90 facets. Today, the diamond is seen by millions of customers on the first floor of the Tiffany-famed New York store on Fifth Avenue. The Tiffany diamond graced the neck of Audrey Hepburn for publicity photos of the film Breakfast at Tiffany's in 1961. 1886 when Tiffany introduced the six-pronged diamond solitaire engagement ring, which has played a part in some of the world's greatest love stories ever since. Celebrated all over the world, this design maximizes the diamond's brilliance by raising it up from the band and into the light. In 1902, Louis Comfort Tiffany, son of Charles Louis Tiffany, established the Tiffany Art Jewelry Department to manufacture his innovative jewelry and animals. He also becomes the company's first official design director. In 1926, U.S. government accepts Tiffany's standard for platinum. Tiffany's standard of purity becomes the official standard for platinum. In 1950, the best-selling novel by Truman Capote, Breakfast at Tiffany's, is published. Holly Golightly, a character in the book, becomes one of the fiction's celebrated personalities. The movie Breakfast at Tiffany's was released in 1961 by Paramount, starring Audrey Hepburn. Tiffany & Co. also started branching out locally and internationally by opening stores in other states and in other continents. In 1963, they opened their store in San Francisco, in 1972 in Japan, 1986 in London, and in 1996 in Tokyo. In 1987, Tiffany & Co. offers its stocks for trading on the New York Stock Exchange. In 1987, Tiffany celebrated its 150th anniversary. Retrospectives of Tiffany silver and jewelry are held at various museums across America. In 1999, Tiffany unveils its newest engagement ring 114 years after introducing the classic six-prong setting. The setting is a jewelry tour de force, a modern masterpiece and also a Tiffany original. In 2000, the Tiffany & Co. Foundation was established. The foundation aims to allow the company to broaden its scope of corporate giving efforts. This includes grants to nonprofit organizations dedicated to education and preservation of the arts and environmental conservation. Some projects include the New York Restoration Project and the World Wildlife Fund. In 2003, Tiffany introduced the Legacy Collection, which features diamond engagement rings and wedding bands. Inspired by Edwardian design from other Tiffany archives, the patented cushion-cut center stone is surrounded by exquisitely bed-set diamond for a look that evokes glamour of an early time. The collection has grown over time to include earrings, pendants, and bracelets. In 2007, the Tiffany novel, a brilliant cushion-cut creation with spirit, fire, and style, was introduced. Inspired by the famous 128.54 Tiffany diamond, these rings gives nod to the past and glimpse of the future. On the same year, Tiffany opens at 37 Wall Street. The 25-story building was built in 1907. Tiffany embarks on an extensive restoration project to preserve the beauty of the original building. In 2008, Tiffany opens the first Patek Philippe salon on the mezzanine of the Fifth Avenue flagship store. This serves as the grand and permanent home of the rarest and most complicated timepieces in North America and the culmination of a 157-year partnership with Philippe and Tiffany. In 2009, Tiffany launches its magical collection of key pendants. In 2012, Tiffany celebrated its 175th anniversary, and in honor of the company's celebration, the Tiffany diamond was reset. This means taking the original stone and creating an entirely new design, from this to this. Tiffany's general environment. Tiffany & Co. Pestle Analysis is a strategic tool to analyze the macro environment of the organization. Changes in the macro environment factors can have a direct impact on not only the Tiffany & Co., but also on other players in the jewelry stores. Pestles stand for political, economic, social, technological, environmental, and legal factors that impact the macro environment of Tiffany & Co. Political. Political factors play a significant role in determining the factors that can impact Tiffany & Co.'s long-term profitability in a certain country or market. Tiffany & Co. is operating in jewelry stores in more than a dozen countries and exposed itself to different types of political environment and political system risk. To achieve success in such a dynamic jewelry industry across various countries is to diversify the systematic risk of political environment. Tiffany & Co. can closely analyze the following factors before entering or investing in a certain market. Political factors includes political stability, risk of military invasion, level of corruption, bureaucracy and interference in jewelry store industry by government, legal framework for contract enforcement, pricing regulations, and taxations. Economic. The macro environment factors such as inflation rate, savings rate, interest rates, and foreign exchange rate determine the aggregate demand and aggregate investment in an economy, while micro-environment factors such as competition norms impact the competitive advantage of the firm. Tiffany & Co. can use countries' economic factors such as growth rate, inflation, and industry's economic indicators such as jewelry store industry growth rate, consumer spending, and etc. to forecast the growth trajectory of not only sectoral name sector but also that of the organization. Economic factors includes level of household, employment rate, government spending, and inflation rate. Social. Society's culture and way of doing things impact the culture of an organization and an environment. Shared beliefs and attitudes of the population play a great role in how marketers at Tiffany's & Co. will understand the customer of given market and how they design the marketing message for jewelry store industry consumers. Social factors includes level of social concerns and awareness in society, demographic trend, nature of social contract between government and society, societal norms and hierarchy, and the desire of exquisite customer experience. Technological. Technology is a fast disrupting business model across various industries. Some of the technology trends that are impacting the macro environments are developments in artificial intelligence, use of machine learning and big data analytics to predict consumer behaviors, and growing importance of platforms over service providers. Technological factors includes cost of production and trends, intellectual property rights and patents protection, preparedness for 5G related infrastructure, acceptance of mobile payments and fintech services, e-commerce and related infrastructure development, and property rights and protection of technology-oriented assets. Environmental. Environmental factors are fast gaining traction not only among consumers but also among regulators and policymakers. Climate change and changing ecosystem is leading to the extinction of more than 20% of species on the planet by the turn of the century. Before entering new markets or starting a new business in existing market, the firm should carefully evaluate the environmental standards that are required to operate in those markets. Some of the environmental factors are the following: weather, climate change, laws regulating environment pollution, air and water pollution regulation in jewelry store industry, recycling, waste management in service sector, attitudes towards green or ecological products, endangered species, and attitudes towards support for renewable energy. Legal. In a number of countries, the legal framework and institutions are not robust enough to protect the intellectual property rights of an organization. A firm should carefully evaluate before entering such market, as it can lead to theft of an organization's secret sauce, thus the overall competitive edge. Some of the legal factors that Tiffany & Co. leadership should consider while entering a new market includes antitrust law and jewelry store industry and overall in the country, discrimination law, copyright, consumer protection and e-commerce, employment law, health and safety law, and data protection. Now let's see how Tiffany & Co. built a marketing empire. A closer look at Tiffany's product line and marketing campaign sheds light on the inner workings of the company's pricing scheme. Tiffany's brand worth a lot that people are willing to pay hundreds or even thousands of dollars more for a Tiffany product than they would for an equivalent silver product without a Tiffany logo. Tiffany's logo design and even Tiffany's small box that holds the jewelry is really what the customers are paying for. If you look at the silver prices and compare them to what you buy at Tiffany & Co., it is obvious that you pay a huge premium for that little blue box. Here's also how Tiffany became the jewelry marketing superpower they are today. Number 1. Tiffany leverages brand for marketing powers. The company's initial branding was stationery and fancy good emporium. Initially, the company sold a variety of stationery products under the name Tiffany Young and Ellis. The company iterated and changed their branding when they discovered that their market niche was jewelry, not stationery. At this time, in 1853, the company changed their name to Tiffany & Company. Number 2. Tiffany wasn't afraid to use their own marketing methodology. Back in the 1830s, prices were rarely a fixed thing. Many stores and vendors were open to bargaining with customers, and price was generally a subjective negotiable term. Tiffany didn't accept this. They realized that if they wanted brand dominance and to establish themselves as a leader in the jewelry industry, then they had to do something different from the other companies. Thus, rather than following the norm and trying to copy the success of existing companies, Tiffany decided to blaze its own trail. In the 1830s, Tiffany made a bold move that was unseen prior to that. Tiffany decided to mark prices clearly on all of their goods and products. No negotiating, no bargaining, no haggling. You would pay the price of the product or you would leave the store. In doing this, Tiffany insisted that their products were of high quality. Tiffany wouldn't budge on a price, demanding the value that they set on it. Thus, word spread and Tiffany became known as having expensive, high-quality jewelry. This value wasn't intrinsic. Tiffany created this value literally by putting price tags on their item. That's all it took. In addition, Tiffany broke another norm by only accepting cash payments. While many jewelry stores accepted payments and credit, for Tiffany it was cash only. In doing so, Tiffany further branded itself as a classy jewelry store that wouldn't settle for anything less than the high price it demanded for its item. While this may have cost Tiffany some money and a few customers early on, as time went on and word spread, Tiffany began to attract the wealthiest customer in the city who wanted to buy the fanciest and highest quality jewelry. Number 3. Tiffany empowered itself. Tiffany didn't wait around for others to evaluate and deem their jewelry to be impressive and valuable. Tiffany created the value themselves. They insisted that their products were of high worth and eventually people accepted it for the truth. In 1862, Tiffany was a main supplier to the Union Army. They supplied them with flags, surgical implements, and swords. This was an excellent marketing tactic for Tiffany, who at that time was establishing their brand as reliable, credible, and dependable. When people saw Tiffany items used by their government's army, they knew that Tiffany had to be a high quality and trusted product. These brought Tiffany customers and helped grow their brand. Later on, Tiffany decided it was time to build their brand and power worldwide. In 1867, Tiffany won an award for excellence in silverware at the Exposition Universelle in Paris. In doing so, Tiffany was the first U.S. firm to ever win an award of such a nature overseas. This established Tiffany as having a clear global presence and furthered the branding quality and prestige that Tiffany had now successfully created. Tiffany was incorporated a year later in 1868. In 1877, Tiffany added a new flavor to their brand. The New York Yankees took a Tiffany-created logo and made it their own. Tiffany has demonstrated, time and time again, the value of providing physical and creative value to trusted brand as a means of establishing their own worth. By helping out the military, a famous sporting team, and even the police, Tiffany made it known that they were a trusted and respected vendor. Today, Tiffany has a solid presence in the global jewelry market. They are a highly sought after vendor all over the world. Tiffany's international dimension. Tiffany had 326 stores around the world in 2019 in countries like the United States, Japan, and Canada, as well as Europe, Latin America, and Pacific Asia. Tiffany & Co.'s worldwide net revenue in 2019 were estimated to be around $4.4 billion. Tiffany & Co., a New York-based jeweler, said it had a record holiday season in 2020, with shoppers in China spending more on jewelry and customers at home shopping more online. Tiffany, known for its engagement rings and robin's egg blue boxes, reported a 20% increase in net sales in the Asia-Pacific region, with mainland China seeing a 50% increase. Tiffany's competitors. Because of the common price point, product range, and target market that they both compete for, in terms of exposure, time, and money, Blue Nile and Pandora are two of the Tiffany's biggest rivals. Tiffany's other key rivals are De Beers, Cartier, Swarovski, Zales, Tianpo, Jewelry, and Bulgari. But these brands are recognized by customers as Tiffany & Co. Rivals when it comes to fine jewelry, but they are not Tiffany & Co.'s major competitors in terms of price range or target audience. Tiffany's customers. Tiffany's customers ranges from upper middle to high income consumers to the upper middle and upper class consumers. The Tiffany & Co. caters to men as well as women. Women, on the other hand, are the company's most important consumers. Women are the Tiffany & Co.'s main target group. Tiffany jewelry, especially its diamond, is well known for the brand. The majority of women choose diamond because they believe true love exists in their lives. Tiffany's regulators. Tiffany's regulators are Securities and Exchange Commission and Environmental Protection Agency. Tiffany suppliers. Tiffany operations in Belgium, Botswana, Mauritius, Vietnam, and Cambodia have supplied approximately 80 to 90% of Tiffany's individually registered diamonds, where craftspeople design, saw, cut, and polish rough diamonds from established, responsibly operated mines, the majority of which are in Botswana, Canada, Namibia, Russia, and South Africa. Tiffany's trusted polished diamond suppliers have complied with Tiffany's Diamond Source Warranty Protocol, which guarantees that the diamond did not originate from countries with diamond-related human rights issues, such as Zimbabwe and Angola, for the remaining 10 to 20%. Here's the organizational complexity analysis of Tiffany & Co. Tiffany & Co. does not have a full organizational chart released to the public. The company employs over 13,000 employees, with 315 retail locations throughout 29 countries. Tiffany manufactures approximately 60% of their own goods at 11 locations. The only listed employees and organizational structure online was executive management and board members only. Tiffany's issues and controversies. For its very long history, the name Tiffany & Co. has not just been loudly heard solely because of its inconsistently excellent corporate performance, but also because of some controversies that it was involved into for the past few decades. Now for some tea. Here are some of the most recent controversies about Tiffany & Co. Number 1. Tiffany & Co. ad campaign gone political. For its May 2019 campaign, Tiffany & Co. tweeted a picture of a Chinese model, San Fei, in which the sad model was wearing a Tiffany ring on her right hand as it covers her right eye. But on October the same year, Tiffany & Co. removed the tweet after Chinese consumers accused the jeweler of supporting the Hong Kong protesters. Angry Chinese buyers believe that it was a deliberate echo of the post adopted by Hong Kong's pro-democracy demonstrators to denounce police violence in the semi-autonomous city. Hong Kong protesters, who have rallied for months against Beijing authoritarianism, adopted the post, obscuring one eye after some of them received eye injuries during violent clashes with police. But Tiffany's spokesman said that the image was created in May, before the protest erupted, and in no way intended to be a political statement of any kind, said quote-unquote, "We regret that it may be perceived as such, and in turn have removed the image from our digital and social media channels and will discontinue its use effective immediately." Number 2. Louis and Tiffany, A Road to Forever. LVMH, or Moet Hennessy Louis Vuitton SE, the world's leading luxury product group, announced that stockholders of Tiffany & Co. have voted overwhelmingly to approve the modified merger agreement announced on October 29, 2020, relating to the acquisition of Tiffany by LVMH at a special meeting of Tiffany's stockholders that was held. On September 7, 2020, however, Tiffany sued LVMH after the latter, which is led by billionaire Bernard Arnault, said its board had received a letter from the French Foreign Ministry asking it to delay the $16 billion acquisition agreement between the Tiffany and LVMH until January 6, 2021, given the threat of additional U.S. tariffs against French products. This made it impossible for LVMH to meet a contractual November 24 deadline to complete the acquisition. Hence, there is no sign of interest in both parties to extend the agreement further, and 21 days later, LVMH filed a countersuit for that of Tiffany's & Co. Until, finally, on January 7, 2021, the acquisition has been completed.